So I wanted to make a quick video here about my last game because there were a couple of points that I missed and some things I got wrong in the game, so I thought it was kind of interesting. Let's take a look at it. We just step forward through the opening here. I have black, and this is a very funny Joseki, but I played it correctly, and I'm starting to get an advantage in this part of the game. If you look at the graph up here, as it goes to the bottom, that's where I'm winning. As it goes to the top, that's where my opponent is winning. So I'm building up an edge here. And yeah, the first place where the computer, there were other ways to play this that were also recommended by the computer, so it's not the only way to play this Joseki, but this was a fine way to play. And then now it wants me to continue and play a knight's move here, which is pretty interesting. I just played an enclosure. So, and then after this move, I didn't respond in the best way here, but I thought the computer's choice was very interesting. So what the computer would do is actually sacrifice these two stones. So play here, and then extend, and just build a really big wall here. And just give up on these two stones. And then finally at the end here, there's a couple of moves that the computer liked. It could play away at this point, leaving this cut behind, a little bit risky, but equally good was just defending here. So this is a tremendously thick wall pointing towards my stone. And I've sacrificed these two stones, so I've given white a larger corner. But apparently that's a good trade for me. So interesting way to play. Anyway, I connected the stones, and then next, when white played here, which is kind of a small move, I blocked, and once again the computer's saying, oh, just jump out on this side, let him have the corner. It doesn't matter if you get this whole big side. So those are some early mistakes I made, but overall you can see that the result of the Joseki is still good for me, because it's just that kind of way of playing for white with the attachment on top is just not very good. So we get into some fighting here. This is kind of going back and forth. I didn't get the biggest advantage there, but I managed to get some kind of edge. You can see as it gradually, as the score here gradually drops, that's to my advantage. So I am winning through this section here. So these fights all went in my favor, more or less, even if I wasn't playing the best moves. This was an interesting point where the white made a base here on this side, and I just defended my corner like this, and also I was looking for some outside influence. The computer would play here. That's a kind of shoulder hit is interesting. I should try moves like that and see how they work out for me. Anyway, yeah, I just defended the corner. That's, I think, one of my common weaknesses right now in my development is I defend when I don't really need to, or sometimes my first reaction is to defend when I should really be looking at how to put pressure on my opponent. So now here's an interesting point. Raphael commented in the previous video that he would have jumped out here and just secured this area's territory. And that's a good move. That's one of the top engine choices. The move I played was just made a bamboo joint here. So I was just responding here. I think the criticism here is I wasn't taking advantage of the fact that I have Sente. I mean, there's no threat to kill these stones. I don't need to play another move in this area, and I could look for what the biggest move is. The chess engine actually likes, not the chess engine, the AI likes the cut here slightly better than this jump, but it liked that jump too. And it gives this variation. So white cuts over here and then responds. And then black jumps out over here. So not so much building this area some more as building this area after throwing in this cut to, I suppose, weaken this group. I guess I don't understand that, because at any time white can play here and just capture that stone, so this group is not going to be that weak. But I guess I get a move in here to surround, and I get another move if white plays there. I get another move to surround black, or surround white and build this side. So that does look good for black. Okay, but I played here, and through all of this, even if I'm not playing the best moves, I'm playing well enough. Right here was an interesting point. This actually is where I start to get into trouble. And the move I played was just jump out here. It's a little bit too close to his stones here, I think. The computer, the AI, is recommending this move instead of the two-space jump. Back up. Instead of this two-space jump here, to play the knight's move here. It's a little further away from the wall, and I don't know if white would have played there. But this is, again, building this area and not getting into trouble. What I did is I let this stone get cut off, and I still had chances to save it here, so this wasn't like a huge mistake at this point, but it's leading me down a path where I get into trouble. So right here, I just extended, trying to connect back, but the better connection would have been like this. And even if white cuts me off, I think that's okay. It's just one stone, and I still want to build this side. Instead, I descended here, and white was able to descend and then turn. Oh, cuts first, and then eventually he turns there. So let's back up. This was my last chance to prevent this push through here. So I just, when white descended here, threatening to go into my corner, I just automatically blocked. But the computer says I can actually get away with blocking here. So this was really my last chance, although this is a move that's hard to calculate. So here's the line. Let's follow this whole line out. He turns, I block, he extends. I connect like here, threatening to cut those off. He connects. So now it's a capturing race. He can't live here because I can get that stone just in time. And so it's a capturing race between this group, which is dead, and this group, which is not yet alive. But what the computer does is the computer manages to live here. So white can creep in one move, but then I block here. And now this is alive for sure. And maybe it was always alive. And since this is alive and this is out on this side, these stones in here are dead. So that's a big win for me. So what that means is that I could have connected up this stone. And I already extended once, but I defended the corner instead. It is a bit hard for me to read all that out. He pushed, I blocked, he cut. I take these stones, then he cuts here. I extend, and he extends. And these two stones here are dead, and I should just give them up. The best way to do this is just to extend here. This keeps the biggest advantage for me. I still have an edge at this point, but I turned here, and now it's getting close to even. And let's see, he extended, and I tried to save these stones, and I did eventually save them, but I shouldn't have. And you can see already it's gotten back to even. And as he plays these moves, let's see, I played one more move here to again try and save those stones. The computer's saying give those up, play here, and it's about even. It's still an even game here, but I've given up some advantage. But at least it's even. That's better than losing. And I have chances to come back later. So as I struggle with these stones, you can see that the valuation is shifting in white's favor. And I won't go through all the ins and outs here, but the point is that my group in the center actually is dead. I ran it out, but it really should not have lived. And then here is white's best chance to kill it. This is like the point at which white had the biggest advantage. If white had played here, white has an advantage of about 50 points, meaning this whole group in the center is dead. Let's see if we can mark that. All of these stones are just dead. Even over here. Yeah, because they're not connected to anything either. So yeah, just a giant clump of dead stones, or miscellaneous group of dead stones in the center. Pretty bad. So, but he played here. He played, as we back up, instead of playing here, it takes away some ice space from me. What he played was this peep here. Well, it looks like a reasonable move, but apparently I can live now with best play. So it goes back and forth. There's some fighting going on. And he still has an advantage, even after I make a living shape here. And yeah, we're getting up to this point. So right here, he played this move. And this actually lets me get back into the game. If he had played here, and let's see, I respond, then white still has a +8 advantage. So the fact that I spent so many moves in the middle here, making a group that basically only just barely lives, just has 2 eyes, allows him to secure some territory on the side, and so he still has a winning advantage. Not as big, of course, since I've lived at the center, but still. But instead, he pushed through here. That was a bit of a small move, and I got this move in instead of him. And after that, I have an advantage of about +3 points. So he blocks, and I get all these Sente endgame moves. And in fact, I keep the advantage the rest of the way. So I think by the end I had an advantage of about +8. Plus there was no Komi, so it was even more than that when it was scored on PandaNet. But anyway, that's all I had to say about this game. I thought that was a couple of interesting points. So you know, knowing when to sacrifice a group. You know, I just had 2 stones there. I think it was these 2. Let's see. Let's mark them. I think I had just these 2 stones here. Got cut off and separated from my corner, and even after I placed a 3rd stone there, trying to walk out with them. At any time I could have given up on those and still had a decent game, but instead I built this whole huge group here that you know, just barely lives, and that could have been killed if my opponent had played better. So you know, you can't play like that against stronger players and expect to win. So you need to know just when to give those up. And also, if I had placed that stone correctly, it was placed a little too close to his wall, and then you know, I could have abandoned it more quickly with a diagonal move here. So that's the big point there. And then also this Joseki in the bottom right corner, just so you know how to play that one. Okay, that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.